Добар ден, почитувани. Гостин во неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа е британскиот амбасадор во земјава господинот Kristofer Ivon. Амбасадоре, кој е официјалниот став на британската влада во врска со спорот со името меѓу Република Македонија и Грција?
Зборувам малку македонски, се недовам дека ќе зборувам подобро македонски наскоро, но ми треба да зборувам на англиски во мола. Thank you very much for your question. The name issue, I would hope, can be solved as quickly as possible. I think it will require leadership, flexibility and commitment of the parties involved, but I hope that a solution can be found very soon.
Во изминативе неколку години евидентно е дека британската влада го поддржуваше процесот на проширување на Европската Унија. Каков е ставот на актуелната британска влада во врска со овој процес? Како се вклопува спорот со името помеѓу Македонија и Грција во сето ова?
The British government strongly supports membership of the European Union for all the countries of the Western Balkans. It is something which plays directly into the foreign policy objectives of the British government, which are to see prosperity and security across the European region. So we are very strong, warm and long-standing supporters of countries of the Western Balkans joining the EU, including Macedonia. Of course, the European Union operates by consensus, and therefore consensus would be required for that final step into the EU to happen for Macedonia. But I think the progress so far and the positive recommendations that came out of the 2009 European Commission statement are a cause for celebration.
Го споменавте извештајот на Европската комисија. Судејќи по тоа што се случува во Република Македонија во изминатово време, откако се објави последниот извештај, што може да се очекува од следниот извештај на Европската комисија?
I don't know what the content of the report is going to be. I would expect the report to recognise areas where there have been points of progress throughout the past 12 months, and I would also expect the report to identify areas where more progress is required. So I think you'll see a report that is balanced in recognition both of progress that's been achieved and of where further efforts are required.
Во скоро време и самитот на НАТО, што може да се очекува на тоа поле?
Well, there's a clear link between many of the reforms that are required on the path towards NATO membership and the reforms required on the path towards EU membership. The NATO summit was fairly explicit in that it said Macedonia at Bucharest, Macedonia could become a member of NATO once a solution to the name issue had been found. So I think that's where that does become an ingredient in the factor of the timescale of membership of NATO.
Според ваша проценка, дали се приоритизира влезот во Европската Унија пред НАТО интеграциите на Република Македонија?
I think you'd have to ask people of Macedonia how they actually feel about both those institutions. But my own government strongly supports Macedonia's membership both of NATO and the EU. And again, that's very much about both security and prosperity. I think both institutions have a lot to offer to Macedonia, and also I think would benefit from having countries such as Macedonia within their membership.
Во последно време дел од македонските медиуми пишуваат за некои британски инвестиции кои никогаш не се случиле. Конкретно ова се однесува на General Dynamics. Како ја оценувате климата за инвестиции во Република Македонија, барем од аспект на британските инвеститори? Дали се тие подготвени да инвестираат во земјава?
I think there is interest out there. I had discussions with British commercial companies in the UK before coming out here, and in the first 6 weeks I've been here, I've sort of set myself an objective to understand better how the environment here is organised in such a way that it could be attractive to British business. I would like very much for people to see Britain as being open for business, and that shared commercial and trade opportunities between the UK and Macedonia would be an excellent way of helping to move forward from the financial crisis. In terms of what British investors see here, I think they're looking for the same kinds of things that they look when they're thinking of investing in any country. And that really revolves around three principal ingredients: predictability, clarity, and fairness. And if investors see in a country that those principles are adhered to, then I think that gives them confidence that they can make those investments. So I'll be encouraging British businesses to see whether they can identify those opportunities here, and be encouraging on the reform efforts towards the EU to help ensure that there is a conducive atmosphere here.
Дали потенцијалните британски инвеститори со кои сте разговарале посочувале одредени пречки во врска со инвестициите?
Not to me personally, but I can understand how, if I was an investor, having an EU and NATO membership to a country would be an important factor to bear in mind, because it would say something about the degree to which the harmonisation of business practices and economic regulation had met standards that could be very well understood. If you look at the European Union, its strength lies in the fact that the members understand the rules, they're in common, so businesses do not have to start from scratch understanding what the operating environment is like. So I think that endorsement of EU membership gives greater confidence, but that does not mean that there is a lack of confidence at the moment.
По падот на Шенгенскиот зид за македонските државини се актуализираше прашањето за укинување на британските визи. Дали има планови?
It's not an expectation I share, I should say. There are no current plans to change the visa regime. I read some articles in the UK before I started my mandate as ambassador saying that I was coming here with an explicit mission objective to open up negotiations, and I can say that's not the case at all. I can say that we have a first-class visa service here. I've been down to the waiting room to see the service that customers receive. The vast majority of visas are issued within the target time, and in the vast number of cases, visas are approved. So we run an extremely efficient and effective service here.
Минатата недела британската амбасада промовираше брошура за Европската унија за ученици од основното образование. Кои други проекти и активности ги има британската амбасада во поглед на граѓанското општество, економија, политика?
Well, I'm really glad you mentioned the EU brochure, because I was delighted to visit a school in Skopje and meet lots of children and talk about how the EU has touched my life personally and how I hoped that it would touch their lives as well. So that was a real pleasure to do with the Deputy Prime Minister. In terms of other projects, we have a whole range of projects, but what I'd say is they really reflect where the EU progress reports identify areas. So we're very much looking to work hand in hand with Macedonia to help it achieve its EU aspirations. So they're in the area of regulations, having proper impact assessment arrangements so that when a law is introduced, there's clarity about how that can properly be implemented and any further and wider implications it may have, and the analysis that goes into that. We have projects in the area of Parliament, in supporting the way that Parliament can hold to account the executive, as we do very robustly in the UK, and to support the staffing and human resource element within Parliament. We also have projects in relation to improving the prison system in Macedonia and to consider a system of probation in the country. So there's a whole range of projects where we're actively working away, but I would say they do all absolutely focus on the support that we can give Macedonia towards meeting its EU goals.
Амбасадоре, ви благодарам.
Thank you very much.
Тоа беше се за неделното интервју на Радио Слободна Европа, повторна средба за 7 дена.